Hi, and welcome to the Be She podcast. Be seen, be heard, be empowered. And I'm really excited to be bringing you Sherry Schmidt who's joining me today because she is an interior designer. And if you know anything about me, I have a lot of stuff going on in my home right now that I'm trying to work on. So she is like my godsend as far as figuring out what I'm going to do to make my home um, as beautiful as I envision it. So I'm excited to chat with her because not only is she an amazing interior designer, but she's also an entrepreneur. And she's willing to share with you what she's learned on her journey along the way. So hi, Sherry, and thank you for joining me today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to
And
dive in.
remember, the interior of your home is the exterior of you. So,
Ooh, I love that. I love that.
yeah,
And
I
I
tell
before
people.
we dive in, I want to introduce you real quick so they can get a little background about
Okay.
you, and then we're going to dive into all the things. So Sherry Schmidt's studies in art and psychology spawned her interest in interior design. She has over 20 years of experience in her industry, and she offers individualized one-stop residential and commercial design services. So no matter where you are in the world, Sherry can come to you and make your vision, create your vision and turn it into real life. So Sherry, I really, my first question for you, and that we chatted a little bit about behind the scenes, is why interior design? What inspired you to get into this work?
From a young age, I worked with developmentally disabled adults, and I didn't start out in design. When I was 15, 16 years old, I started working with people with like autism and, going to a lot of Special Olympics and taking people um, up until I went to college. But I had this like urge. So I love working with people. I loved that opportunity to, be connected with people. But I also really had always a strong urge to do art. And in college, I was kind of a hot mess. I took all the classes. I took psychology, sociology, and then I'd take like art history and painting, and I fell into an interior design class. So this was 22 years ago before HGTV, and interior designers weren't nearly as visible as they are today. And the
Mhm.
career wasn't something that I was like, wow, I could really make a living doing that. But I ended up finding a great professor who ended up being a mentor, and he's so encouraging. And I discovered after taking classes that interior design was a way for me to combine my medium and my desire to not only work one-on-one with people, but to do my artwork.
Amazing. And I love that you said that you brought out the new how popular it's become in the past. And you started doing this way before it was mainstream, where everybody knows about, like, hears about it on HGTV. So why I have so many questions.
We started on onion skin, Heidi. When I
You
started, there was no AutoCAD, there was no computers. We were tracing on paper and, had our little rulers and drawing it out.
So how did you get started? Because I know like everybody has a journey, our message is our message, and we're talking to female entrepreneurs out there, some who may be wanting to start a business and scared to do it, and others who are like maybe further along in their journey, but they might be stuck. You're a woman in an industry that's not an easy one to break through, and you're doing it on your own. Like you've
Yeah.
literally created your own business. So, but it didn't start that way. So can you tell
No.
us where you started and how you evolved to where you are now?
So I think I've always like known that I need to first of all, build my internal network. And that's like always just been like it's who you know and how you treat them. And so I could say I've gotten lucky, or I just have a loud mouth and I ask the right questions. So when I first finished my associate's degree at 21 years old, I got what I thought was my dream job, and it was at a retail spot here where I'm based in mid-Michigan.
Mm.
And I happen to know the manager from when I was young. We used to go snowmobiling together. So I kind of had a shoe in. I also like to think I was a little talented and fit for the job because I stayed there for 14 years. So I worked with a lot of people in my community during that 14-year time, building up a clientele. Um, and also during that time, my professor that was became my good mentor, he left the college to go start his own interior design firm in town here as well. And when he left, I called him up immediately and I said, I would love an opportunity to teach and see if I like it. And he said, okay, Sherry, I want you to go and talk to Felicia at the college and tell her I sent you. So I put my resume together right away and set an appointment. And I literally walked into Felicia's office and she said, okay, so what classes do you want? I'll take that one and that one, you know. And so then I became a professor, an adjunct professor. That was a lot of fun. I did that for 2.5 years and I was still working full time.
Mm.
So it was a lot of work. And fast forward to the end of that, the program ended up getting eliminated. They lost the funding. It was like poor enrollment. So I said to myself, okay, I'm 31 years old and I don't have a 4-year degree yet. So I'm going to go back and get my 4-year degree in interior design. I've done this for 10 years now or however long, and I obviously like it. So I'll just see. I had no intentions. I'm just gonna see where this degree will take me. And I said I'm gonna get a degree before I'm 35. I ended up graduating at 33 years old, and um I did an internship for commercial design with form and function and absolutely loved it and never left. Then I bought the company.
Wow, that's
So
incredible. Well, that's
yeah,
amazing. So now you've basically gone out on your own. You have your own
yeah,
business. So what advice would you give entrepreneurs who are just starting out? Because you had said like you just basically what I heard, you trusted the process. You didn't
I
even know,
did.
you didn't have the intention, you just trusted. So what would you say to new entrepreneurs who are just starting out that they if they're having that fear of should I do this?
Yeah. Um, in my 30-second explanation, I probably made it sound like super easy, like looking back at how the dots connected. But in reality, after I did my internship, I was still working part-time and building up a clientele here as like a 1099 employee designer with form and function, right? So I built up a business for 6 full years before I purchased it. Um, During that time, I talked to so many people, and we were in the owner, the previous owner, and myself went through a lot of lawyers and trying to figure out what she wanted to sell the business for. And we were trying to find out like the valuation of it. And it was a lot of like, oh my gosh, I should walk away. There was like so many fear moments of what am I doing? How am I going to make the same income that I made before? Is this really what I want? Am I taking on too much? Are my clients going to still be there? So all of that fear, I'm like, I just kept on pushing through it and I trusted. Um, and then we finally, it's like you get to a point and you just like, okay, I'm just going to pull the trigger. I'm
Mm,
just going to do it. Like I'm tired of thinking about it. So I ended up finally getting the loan that I needed, and I ended up going to 2 different banks, and it just, it's like sometimes you just know when the timing's right,
yeah.
and it was like I just knew. Um, so we set the date of me purchasing this business to 2020. What I didn't know
Mm.
is all of like the hardships and like all the learning curves after. So after that point of like, okay, now I'm the only one here and she's retired. So that was a big learning curve too.
So what were some
Yeah.
of the learning curves or adjustments you had to make as you move forward? Because we talked a little bit about that behind the scenes. Like if you had to share with people, like what are the musts that you need to have as you grow your business or as you're planning ahead? If you want to set goals for yourself, what are certain things that you should be goal setting to put into place as you're hitting certain milestones maybe? Or, and also what are those milestones we should be looking for?
Okay, so some of the definitely setting goals is a priority, and every business is going to have a little bit of a different goal. For me, it was okay, I feel like if I have one appointment a day, I'll be able to make it. Or if I can make like $500, a day or whatever it is in income. So I set goals like that, and then I succeeded in them. And it's like every year I reevaluate and set new goals. And um, so I'm a big fan of goal setting and like just constantly reevaluate. In fact, with my employees now, we'll have probably once a quarter, we try and sit down and just do like a goal setting process. And I don't even want to see all of their goals. They're for them, not me, but at least it gets them in their own mind to write down what they want to achieve. And if they share their top three with me, then I can see what how they're fitting into my company and where they're going to be moving forward too. So goals are super important. But for other things, I mean, get systems in place. So I wrote a business plan in order to get my loan. And that was a big eye opener because I had to do a lot of market research on my competitors, on how, like, what their ideal client or their client avatar was versus what mine looked like, and how I was going to generate that income, and what kind of advertisements I was going to do, what kind of, promotions, what groups will I join? How much do I have to bring in here? What's my profit margin going to be? Like, it forced me into identifying all of those things. And that was just a great thing it's even fun to look back on it like 3 years later, you know. Um, Find a great CPA. Your first time hiring a CPA is probably not going to be your last. You're probably right. You're gonna end up, you know, getting a different one once you realize what you can do. Um, but a good CPA is going to save you money and make you money instead of have you spend your money and everything's out the door.
Mm.
So, sometimes I feel like a farmer, like I just get to touch a lot of money, but it's like the keeping it part. So, having somebody that can actually like read your books and understand that cash flow and teach it to you, because it's probably not your strong suit unless you're like building a CPA firm or something, right? It's definitely not mine. I didn't know anything about setting up like a chart of accounts and doing all of the paperwork to start a business, So I just hired people to put that into place.
Mm. You made a good point when you're just talking about that. Like, the CPA is really good at what they're good at, and we're not always good at that. As a business person, we're really good at what we do. You're really good at the creative, like you're an interior designer. So I hire you because I can't come up with that myself. And you're not, you're good, you're great at the creative and making sure that happens for your client who has that vision. Like you're the manifester of that vision. So we're in that space. We're not always the good person at this as the stewards of our money. So I love that you brought that into perspective, because as business owners and entrepreneurs, I see many of us were thinking, okay, well, we can handle all of that too. And it's great that you brought that to light, that we're not always the best person. So stay in your zone of genius, really focus on that so you can. I just turned my mic off. So
That's
I
okay.
got excited. So you could create more money, but then allow the other people that are really good at what they do to do that for you. And that's
Yes.
hard as entrepreneurs, that I see for many entrepreneurs, whether you're a female or a male, is allowing the other experts to come in and hiring them, releasing the funds, like letting go of that control or that money to allow people to do what they're really good at, so we can spend our focus and energy on doing what we're really good at. So that's amazing that that was really something you learned early on, because most
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs don't. So congratulations for that
Yeah.
shift.
And I'll tell you a quick little story. My and this is nothing against my first CPA. However, every month I pay a sales tax, right? And so they were they were taking at face value what I gave them to do my end year-end taxes, my quarterly taxes, my monthly sales tax I pay at face value. And with this new lady that I just hired this year, we're finding out very quickly that we should probably go back and amend like the last full 2 years because the information wasn't, and I just knew like there's something wrong. There's too much going out. Like I shouldn't, it just didn't feel right. So sometimes you gotta follow your gut, but we're in the process right now of amending the last 2 years, and hopefully we can see, and maybe we'll find out that it was fine. But
Much for sharing your expertise and your experience with running your business. And now I want to really dive into you and your creativity and your business and share all the beauty of what you do as the expert in your space of being an interior designer, because I just get really excited talking to you because I want you in my home helping me because my home has a lot of work to do. And we chat a little bit about that behind the scenes. So share with us about you and what you do and how you help people with really bringing their vision to life in their business, as well as sharing your creative expertise with them as well.
so going back to my passion of working with people, every time I start a new project, whether it's working with an individual on their residence or working on a big corporation or a college or banks or whatever, we start with a detailed intake meeting. And so, like on a commercial job, I would send a questionnaire about the facilities and the kind of the workflow, and just I want to get like an analysis of how the business actually works and what their brand is, and how can I make that space better suitable for their work environment. Um, because today is so different even now, like, and I have to educate people, this is on commercial side, I have to educate people that listen, like, how are you going to recruit people and make them want to stay in the space that you've created for them to work? Why do you even have a building when almost everything is Zoom anymore? Or they could get a job in California because they can hire and do all the hiring process over the computer. What's going to make them want to come to you? It's all about that branding. And so you'll hear the word resumercial if you haven't heard it already. And it's like creating an environment at your office that's comfortable and cozy. Like in the back, in my own space, I put in our studio a kitchen a couple of years ago and just gutted it out and made it more of a space that I wanted to be in and that I thought my employees would too. So we start with an intake meeting. It's very detailed. We want to get to know you, your brand, you as a person. How do you want to feel when you come into your home? You know, do you want it to be like less is more, sleek, chicy, modern, kind of like a space that you can be really proud of? Or do you want it to be more like a spa and just like, softer colors and pretty, do you want more billowy? Like, we just kind of really try and get into our clients' minds. And I've had people tell me quite often that I'm a bit of a chameleon designer, because if you look at our work, there's a consistency in like scale, lighting, things like that. But like the style, I tell people it's going to be a little all over the place and eclectic feeling to you because it's not your space. It's not, you're not going to look at our portfolio and say, like, this is, a Joanna Gaines style or something. So, so we always start with that really detailed intake meeting. From there, the interior design profession is just so much more than knowing like the colors and everything. We are all versed in like doing the detailed drawings. So like if we're working on a project that needs like a demo plan done, we can do the demo plan and the new build and work with an architect on like basically developing a working set of drawings and elevations to submit to the contractors so that they know exactly what they're doing, what wall goes where, how high it is. Like if we need, an electrical unit at 55 AFF for a TV or something, that'll be called out on there. So I'd say that we're pretty inclusive, like all inclusive turnkey design firm.
And I'm really interested. What stuck up for me in that a lot is that you brought up Joanna Gaines, and you brought up HGTV earlier as well. Like it's very we can get very cookie cutter. And in my business as a business coach, my program is called Business by Design. I really design the strategy around the client because not every person is cookie cutter and not every business is cookie cutter. So I really love that you do that for your clients as well. It's not one size fits all. We're not all cottage, style, or I don't know what they would call that.
Yeah.
We can mix it. Like somebody might be more glam, or somebody might be more traditional, or somebody might be more conservative, whatever that looks like. So you really mold what you really cater to their vision. And I think
Yeah.
that's really special and beautiful versus somebody else that really might push what their specialty is on them. And then the person doesn't end up happy in the long run. So I really think that's really amazing about what you do. And I appreciate it because I'm very similar to you in how I do things too. So, which is why I'm excited for you to come to my home.
Yes.
Because I'm manifesting that, Sherry. I'm manifesting that. So,
I love coming to California.
I'm in Florida.
Oh, in Florida, even better.
That's easy. Even better. No,
I'm working with a client in Florida right now.
Are you? Oh, well,
down towards Marco Island. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not far from Marco Island. I'm like a couple hours, so you'll definitely come here. Yeah. So when you come back, let me know. Or maybe I'll get you back and you can go see them. So tell us how we reach out to you and how we learn more about what you do, whether it's residential or commercial. Like, how do we find you, whether it's on social? How do we get more Sherry?
You can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. My company is Form and Function. So I believe that I sent you the links to link up. And then our website is formandfunctionbc.com. Go there, you can learn about our services more, and you can just click the get in touch button at the bottom of any of the pages on our website, and it'll send a direct email to me. So
yeah, definitely go reach out to Sherry because I've seen her work. I've seen photos. I've been in awe for a really long time. So it's really special that you're here with me today. I'm so excited to be sharing you and your journey and everything out and everything that you do with the world, because I think that you are really special and that you travel, you think outside the box. You really get in touch with somebody's vision. You're not pushing your own agenda on somebody. And that, to me, that's really, really special, is that you really listen, and there's not much of that out there. So thank you. And you're also willing to share with other entrepreneurs your journey and your trials and tribulations, and how you become what you've done. And you're the epitome of an entrepreneur. You're not an online coach, which I work with most of the time, but you're not just another coach online. You're literally interior design, which to me, I'm in awe of. I'm just gonna share it. I'm like literally in awe because I wish I had that creative piece that could see the vision and visualize it, and I don't. So I just really, when I talk with you, or I even think about and I see the photos of what you do, it really, like, I'm just very inspired. So thank you for that.
Thank you. That's awesome to hear. I love that.
So Sherry's, all the links, all the things of how you can find her are in this episode of the Be S.H.E podcast. So make sure you go check her out, follow her, DM her. She's an amazing woman. She will respond. It will be her responding to you. Sherry, I love to share fun facts of people because we get to connect. I'm all about connection. And I feel like people can connect with you more when they learn a little bit more about you personally versus just professionally. So can you share some fun facts about you?
Yeah. So I do love to travel, and in 2021 I became a 50 stater. My
Oh,
husband and I, yeah, we oh, there's some people waving at me in the window. Um so we went to Alaska for 10 days, and that was just exciting. It was a beautiful state, saved one of the best for last, I'd say. And then I've also been to 7 countries.
wow.
Um, I'm kind of an outdoorsy person. Like, I've jumped out of airplanes. Yeah, I've gone backpacking with carrying all our own food and water for like 2 weeks at a time across the desert. I've backpacked in Big Sur, California for a week and a half in the mountains. And so I love to, like, I guess when I'm not living, in the design world, I like to be out in nature and just like looking at sunsets and walking through woods and camping. I love it. And
That is so
traveling.
cool. Like I know you
Yeah.
professionally, but I've never known that about you. One,
Yeah.
I like they're jumping out of the airplane. I got like my chest got tight. I'm scared of heights, so you'll never see me jump out of an airplane. So kudos to you
I
for
think I
doing that.
became afraid of heights. I had to take a class. I did it solo my first time.
Did you really?
Yeah, I'm not joking. I had to do a class, and it was like you learn like the circle of awareness. So you've got like this altimeter, and you have to you have 2 jump masters, and they're holding on to you, but I did pull my own chute. I landed it like on my own.
That's amazing. On your first time?
Yeah,
Wow, I've only seen
it's
people like on
nuts.
top of them the first time. You got to
No,
do it all yourself?
I had to take a full-on class, and we like you learn all about like what to do if your strings get messed up and like your chute doesn't go, and how do you get your emergency chute out, and what time to pull your chute at 6,000
Amazing.
feet. So yeah.
You're a rock star, Sherry. Like, oh my gosh. This is so
Or
cool.
I'm just nuts, but aren't we all a little bit,
No,
you
we're gonna go
know?
with rock star. We're gonna go with rock star. You're a
Okay.
rock star. And just like the 50 stater. So you did kind of give us a hint on one of your favorite states. And I heard the Alaskan like experience is like no other. Like if you're gonna go to a state, like go to Alaska. But what would you say is your number one, like go to must if anybody's gonna choose a state in the 50, where should we go? And why?
I'm gonna sound so spoiled, but Hawaii, I love aloha. Like,
Oh,
and Kauai. And I mean, hello, I live in Michigan. Michigan, I have to say, is number one. I will never
yeah,
move from here that I know of. I mean, there's all the seasons. I think they're all a little charming. It's really
yeah,
hard, but
yeah.
I just got back from Hawaii a month ago, and it's
So
a
good.
different world. It's
Yeah.
like being in another country.
Okay, so Michigan and Hawaii, we got two.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, you mentioned 7 countries, so now let's go to the countries. If you had one country that you would say we have one country we could go to, what would you say out of those 7 is the place we should go? Your favorite?
I would I
Origin
really love,
city.
yeah, like, okay, Japan and Poland.
Mm,
Can I pick 2?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, you picked 2
Yeah.
states, so we'll
Yeah.
go with 2
Yeah,
countries.
we'll do it 2.
Yeah, I know it's always hard to pick one. Japan and
Yeah.
Poland, like those are 2 like opposite sides of the
Completely different
spectrum
opposites.
there.
Yeah. But the
Why
people,
Poland?
oh my God. Well, first of all, it's just gorgeous. It's so humble. The people have just such cool personalities. Like, they're so nice, They're hardworking, and um they just they're just kind. I felt like it was just like this kindness that I felt when I was visiting.
Amazing. Why Japan?
Very, very clean. Um, like like bizarrely clean, and they love Americans. Like they're like, they want to know all about you. They're always like giving gifts when they meet you. It's really sweet.
Well, I have one
So,
more question before I let you go. I know you're a busy, busy woman.
yeah.
So one tip, one or two, or two, because we go with two lately. So one or two tips on interior design. If we're looking to make a change in our office space or our personal space, what would be the simplest things that we could change in our space that's like affordable and simple that you would say?
Take everything out of your room and seriously, and give it a fresh coat of paint, and then only put back in what really makes you happy. And spend some money, even on a VA, consult with an interior designer, send a screenshot of your room, because I feel like I have friends all the time that like their taste isn't mine at all. Like they're not my ideal client at all, but they'll send me screenshots of their room and say, "What do you think of this, A or B?" And a lot of designers out there are VAs, and will just answer your question. I would say do that. But to freshen up your space, new wall paint is excellent. New throw pillows, a new throw blanket, like for your living room. I love a fresh bouquet of flowers on the table. Maybe set it with like a couple of cocktail table books on top of each other. And you can go to Home Goods and just, ransack it for under $500. You can have a shopping cart of refreshing your home, things. I love getting new sheets and, a new throw blanket for my bedding. Just those little things that can kind of make you feel better.
Amazing. Thank you, Sherry. And you can call Sherry and she'll help
Yes, you
you.
can call me.
Yeah.
I will respond.
All the links to her social, all the links to the link to her website, and you can actually check out her photos and testimonials on there as well. So make sure you check out Sherry, reach out to her, DM her, let her know you heard her here, and ask her questions, because I know her and she's going to help you and support you. And thank you, Sherry, so much for taking time out of your day. I know you are a very busy woman. And I'm so grateful for you in your time. What can we do to support you going forward?
Go to our Instagram or our Facebook and just hit that follow button. It's all about visibility. And if you know anybody that's working on their home or their business, just send them our way. And even if we aren't their ideal designer, we have networks of people who might be. So we're happy to give referrals too.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sherry. Thank you for joining us today on the Be S.H.E podcast. Be seen, be heard, be empowered. Sherry is showing up every day for you and her community and helping everyone beautify their life, whether it's in their home or their business. And she's being seen, be heard, be empowered, and we're inspiring you to do the same. See you soon. Bye-bye.